Hello everyone, and welcome back to the next lesson of our Java course. So in previous lesson we talked about the Java operators, and then we kind of focused on to the arithmetic operators, right? So we will continue our journey, and in this one we are going to talk about the relational operators. These are the operators I believe you're going to use the most in your programming. They are not limited to the Java. There might be a little bit difference between the operators, or especially these relational operators, but these are very common operators used across all the languages. All right. Now, what are the relational operators, right? So the relational operators, and we know, right? We have used them at one point or another in our day-to-day life, and if you are a little familiar with mathematics, you might have used them in your high school or in your college, right? So the relational operators, they are used to compare two values. So you have a two values. For example, you have a value 1 and then value 2, and you will be use these relational operators to compare these values. Now, what I mean by compare? So by compare, I means there might be a different scenarios where you want to compare those two values, right? And based upon those two values, they will help you to make some decisions based upon those conditions. For example, if this is the condition, if this part of the condition is true, I probably will do something like this, or if that is true, I will do something like this. Now, there is another important factor about these operator is that these operators, when you use these operators on or any variables or values, you will always gonna get boolean as part of your return. All right, so these operators, relation operators, will return a boolean value, which means they will return either true or they will return either false, one of them. So there are no other variation of out of it. Either it's true, either it's false. All right. Now in Java, there are total six operators which falls into the relational operators categories. All right, and those are: number one is equals. All right, you have to pay attention that in Java, equal is double equal, not a single equal. All right, so that is number one. Then we have not equals. Okay, this is not equal. Then we have greater than, we have less than. All right, we have greater than, equal to, and then we have less than equal to. So these are the six different operators in Java. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, let's go back to our editor, and then we're gonna do a deep dive into these operators and how you can use these operators. All right. All right, so the first one in our case is the when you want to compare two values, whether they are equal or not. All right, so in this case we will be using the equal operators, or we call it as a relational operator. So let's say I have a value int a is equal to 10, and I have a value int b is equal to 20, and now I want to compare these values. Since I am assigning these values, it's a straightforward, but in real life scenarios, there might be these values might be coming from some external system, or user might be inputting those values at the runtime. Runtime means you are asking them and they are filling the value, so we don't know, right, whether what values they will put. And let's say you have a logic which says if the values are equal, I'm gonna do this. If not, then probably I want to do something else. So in these cases, you want, basically we are gonna use the uh, our equal operator. So in order to test that one, all you have to do is a is equal to b. All right, and if I basically run this program, it says false, because both the values are not same, right? Now if I change the value to 10, and if I again run this program, it will say value is true. So as I said earlier, all your relational operators are gonna have values when they basically done with the comparing or using the logic. they are gonna either return true or false. There are no other values. All right. There is one thing which I talked earlier as well. You have to make sure that you are using a double equal, so it's not a single equal. We can also use, for example, if you want to store it differently, we have boolean as one of the data type, and we can say result. Okay, and then you can say a is equal to b. All right, now if you print this value here, it's gonna print the same value, true. Now you have to just pay one attention. This is the equal operator, and this is actually the assignment operator. We're going to talk about assignment operator separately, but equal in this case is assignment, and double equals are the actually the relation operators. Similarly, you can also use not equal. For example, I can also use, in order to use a not equal, what we can do is, let's say I'm gonna comment this one so we know that it's there. Now I'm gonna say boolean result and not equal. All right, now I can also print this value as a result. So since these values are equal, what do you think, what will be the output? So if you run this program, it's false, because these values are actually equal, these are not equal. So in order to use not equal, you can use not. This is basically, there is nothing as not. This is the symbol for not, and then equals, we know that, right? Again, you have to be a little conscious here. You are not going to use like something like this, because not equal, this is not going to work. All right, in this case, not equals is not and then a single equal sign. All right, similarly, you can use basically a greater than. For example, I have another value, let's say int x is equal to, or we'll say val1 is equal to 4, and I will say int value is equal to 5, and then I can say if val1 is, let's say I have to compare these values, so value is greater than, so I can say val1 is greater than val2. So if you run this program, so val1 is not greater than val2, because val1 has a value 4, this is a variable, and val2 has a value as 5. So if I run this program, it will say false. For first, we know that why it says false, and the second one is the greater than. Similarly, you can, let's say what happens if I want to compare if the values are less than. All right, so in that case, all you have to do is you just reverse, and these are the symbols you might have used in your mathematics or in your day-to-day life, right? So you just have to flip the sign. If you run this now, it's gonna tell you true, because now val1 is actually less than val2, because 4 is less than 5. All right, so, and again, if you have to basically then compare, let's say you have a logic where you want to say if value is less than equal to, for example, I can say if age is greater than or equal to 18, I'm gonna give you the license. All right, so in that case, you don't want to combine. So in order to combine those two relations, right, we can use the greater than or a less than. For example, let's say int age, I will say 21. Okay, all right, and then you can say if age is greater than equal to 80. So if you run this program, if you see age is actually 21, which is greater than 18, right? If you run this program, you will have now 3. The first one is false, we know that. Second one is true, because val1 is less than val2, and then age is 21, so of course 21 is greater than 18. And you want to kind of reverse this logic where you want to say less than, then yeah, of course you can do the less than for this one. All right, okay, so these are the different and as I said, the relational operators are something which you gonna use a lot in your program, and believe me, equals, not equals, less than, greater than. These are the operators which are mostly used when we're going to talk about the loops or the iteration logics and few other conditional logics where we're going to build those conditional logics. These operators, relational operators, are something which going to use a lot. Okay. Now, before we wrap up this one, there are a few things which you should be careful. N- Number one is make sure that you are not confused between this equal, which is assignment in Java, with the equal operators, which is what we talked about. Okay, so it's not there. Let me add it. So this one. All right. So this is a equal, and a single equal is actually the assignment operator. Okay. All right. Now the question is, what happens when you want to combine multiple conditions? For example, let's say you are building something where you want to combine two things. Let's say if the value is greater than this, or if this is less than this, then I'm gonna do something like that. How you can combine these values? So for those, Java provides something called as a logical operators, where the logical operators are used in sort of combining multiple conditions that we are gonna focus onto the next lesson in our Java course. All right. So I hope this video was helpful, and at least it's give you what are the relational operators and how you can use those one. And there are few fine details which we should be aware while using these relation operators. If you have any questions, you need any clarifications, please feel free to drop a comment below, and I would love to help you guys. Once again, thanks for watching this one. And if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Till then, see you in next video. Happy coding.